Chapter 4. Pulling into the parking spot awkwardly, still trying to get used to his new vehicle, Jimmy rushed into the bulk warehouse store, searching his pockets. "Where is that list?" he muttered to himself as he showed the greeter his membership card. Jimmy made his way through the aisles, trying to remember what he had written down. He found the 50-pound bags of rice and heaved 4 into the cart. He also added 3 25-pound bags of flour and a couple of 2-pound containers of yeast packages. Jimmy wandered through the store, scouring through the aisles, looking for things that he thought might be useful. He flung a 50-pound bag of sugar onto the pile. He added a few variety packs of canned vegetables and some sealed hot dogs in a jar. Finally, he added canned chicken and beef. After deliberating in an aisle, he added some canned fish as a treat for himself. His oldest son tolerated fish, but no one really liked it the same way that he did. When he went to check out, Jimmy instinctively pulled out his debit card. "What am I thinking? If I use my credit card instead, I may not have to pay for that bill." "Whoa, someone's stocking up," the young man who had come over to make sure he didn't miss anything said as Jimmy scanned the items in the self-checkout. "That's a lot of rice." "Ha ha ha! I'm opening an Indian restaurant, Chief," Jimmy said with a laugh. The young man didn't laugh back. He nodded, swiped his card awkwardly, and hurriedly made his way to the vehicle. After loading up the Suburban, Jimmy made his way to the discount grocery store, where he quickly gathered multiple jars of peanut butter, ramen, Spam, Vienna sausages, and other miscellaneous canned vegetables. He made his way to the checkout lane in a hurry. "Stocking up for the apocalypse?" the old lady at the checkout asked as she began ringing up his groceries. Jimmy blinked, hesitating for a beat before forcing a crooked grin. "Nah, not exactly." "If you only knew," he thought to himself as he swiped his credit card again. After loading up his latest set of groceries, Jimmy made his way to the home improvement store. Rushing through, he looked for useful items to carry him through the oncoming lockdown. He found a bin with miscellaneous types of rope. He grabbed 5 packs of paracord and a couple of packs of 3/8 by 100-foot rope. He then found a box of screws and took his time deciding what kind of cordless drill would serve him best. With everything in tow, he used the self-checkout. Before heading home, he was convinced by a stale billboard to grab a burger and fries from the drive-thru. Might as well use the credit card, he thought to himself as he pulled up to the window. Jimmy parked to give himself time to look through YouTube for something interesting to listen to on his way home while he munched on soggy fries. After scrolling for some time, he decided to search for anything he could find that might confirm what he'd been hearing over the last 24 hours. Hesitantly, he typed "conspiracy" into the search bar and scrolled until he saw a channel named Blackout Broadcast. The thumbnail was catchy, and they were broadcasting live. "I'll give these clowns about 30 seconds. He clicked the video, and soon there was a big, bearded man who was well-seasoned and seemed a bit too self-important on half of the screen. The other half was occupied by a skinny, well-groomed man in a suit jacket and tie who looked a little too high-strung.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Blackout Broadcast, coming to you live from an undisclosed location deep in the Rocky Mountains. Today, we are joined by Wyatt Creed of the Creed Files. If you don't know Wyatt, you haven't been paying attention. And if you do know him, you know what's coming. We've been breaking news that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Wyatt, what can you tell us about these operations? Tell our listeners what they need to know.
Mason, what we're looking at right now isn't random, it's coordinated. Multiple agencies, federal and private, have been running what they're calling containment exercises. I've been sent footage, unverified but consistent, showing roadblocks in rural counties, low-flying drones over farmland, and get this, livestock being culled without explanation.
Wait a minute, Wyatt. Culled? As in
destroyed, Mason. Quietly. No paperwork, no local news coverage. And before anyone jumps in and says avian flu or mad cow, let me be clear. The numbers don't match any of those patterns. It's targeted.
Unbelievable. Now, Wyatt, the skeptics will say this is just overreaction.
If that's the case, then why the secrecy? Why are independent truckers being turned away from certain highways? Why is cell coverage going dead in these exercise zones for hours at a time? These aren't random outages, Mason. I've cross-referenced them with my sources inside telecom. It's controlled blackout windows.
Controlled blackout windows. Folks, that's not just pulling the plug for repairs.
Exactly. And here's where it gets strange. There are also reports of specialized teams. Unmarked uniforms, no insignia. They're moving door to door in rural areas, but not taking people. They're taking samples. Soil, water, sometimes even pulling food out of people's pantries.
Food?
Yeah, canned goods, sealed bags of grain. Not the kind of stuff you confiscate unless you're testing for something. And when the people ask questions, they get the same answer. Contamination risk. No details.
Wyatt, I'm going to stop you right there. Is this domestic? Or are we talking foreign ops on U.S. soil?
Mason, what I'm saying is this. Whatever it is, it's happening fast, it's happening quiet, and they want it off the record. I've been told directly that the next 2 weeks are going to see major logistical disruptions. Make of that what you will.
Folks, you heard it. I'm not telling you to panic, but I'm telling you not to ignore it.
This isn't about fear, Mason. It's about being 2 steps ahead. Your listeners need to know that if you need to get things in order, do it now. Later might be too late.
That's a perfect segue into our sponsor. If you need the best quality, lowest price emergency food supply on the market, Ironclad Foods has the perfect deal for you folks.
Jimmy had been sitting in his driveway for a few minutes, completely absorbed. He opened the door, leaving everything but his laptop in the vehicle to avoid questions from his family. The house seemed quiet. He opened the front door as quietly as he could, but his rambunctious and overly loyal Dalmatian, Charlie, came running and barking into his arms. "Quit barking, dog. You didn't want to take a nap with us, so you can at least keep quiet. There's nothing here," he heard from upstairs. A beat later, Jimmy, what are you doing home?" "I just had to get out of the office, so I made an excuse to leave." The floorboards of their mid-80s home creaked as Jessica appeared on the landing, holding their 9-month-old son, Ethan. Her eyes softened as she took in his expression, worry tugging at her beautiful features. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Nothing. I told Pete I had diarrhea so I could come home early," Jimmy said. "So now you're sick?" "Of course not. But things aren't going well in the world, honey. Not well at all." "What do you mean? Is everything okay?" The tension in her voice was creeping in. "I'm not sick, but I don't know if everything is going to be okay." "Jimmy, about last night, I'm sorry. I overreacted." Jimmy cut her off with a wave of his hand. "That's the least of my worries right now.